Welcome to the Thursday cross-reference episode of the Selah Time to Pause podcast from Plexus Salvation Army, an online church in the UK. On Monday, in our walk through John's Gospel, we thought about how we try to hide our failings from each other and from God. Today, we're going to think about how sometimes we even try to hide our sinfulness from ourselves by considering the experiences of Isaiah and the tribe of Judah.
Isaiah 30, 8-11. Now go and write down these words. Write them in a book. They will stand until the end of time as a witness that these people are stubborn rebels who refuse to pay attention to the Lord's instructions. They tell the seers, stop seeing visions. They tell the prophets, don't tell us what's right. Tell us nice things. Tell us lies. Forget all of this gloom. Get off your narrow path. Stop telling us about your Holy One of Israel.
I will stop and breathe in your presence. Just breathe. Just breathe.
La la la, I can't hear you. La 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 la. La la la, I can't hear you. La 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 la.
It can be fun to do sometimes, and even though it often doesn't work to make things go away, we've all done it. We of course can remember reciting variations of this mantra as kids, but we've also likely done something similar in a metaphorical sense as adults. This is how the people of Judah were dealing with God. They didn't want to hear what he had to say. They had no interest in hearing his guidance. They didn't want to hear the truth of God's word. Worried that they were not living rightly, not being a blessing to the world around them, not helping the poor, not feeding the hungry, not clothing the naked, not befriending the friendless, not standing up for the oppressed, not being a witness to the goodness of God, they came up with a plan. And so rather than deciding to change their ways, which seems far too hard to do, they decided to turn off the light of truth. If they didn't know right from wrong, then they would no longer need to accept that they were wrong. And so they said to the seers,
Do not see.
And to the prophets,
Do not prophesy to us what is right. Do not tell us what God has to say. We do not like his message.
these were meant to be the people of God's covenant, the law of God. The Lord's truth was meant to be the foundation stone upon which the nation of Israel was built. They were and are the people of the book. The law was their guide until it wasn't. Just like a rebellious child, they didn't want to do what they were told. They could think for themselves and make their own choices, and they chose to make their own way. That sounds just like all of us. It's a humanity thing. We're all prone to self-centered actions, and we all hate to be told that we are wrong. And while these comments may be explicitly about another people group from another time, these words could apply just as much to us. And so instead, the people of Israel ask for a different message. They ask to be told what they want to hear.
Speak to us smooth things. Prophesy illusions. Leave the way. Turn aside from the path. Let us hear no more about truth. Leave us in darkness.
What shocking words. Leave the path of God's revelation. Go your own path. Tell us things we want to hear. Tell us lies. Don't tell us things that we don't like. The seers and prophets of Israel were gifts given by the Lord. Though their message at times may have been hard, their existence was meant to be a blessing to God's people, for they would put them back on the right path, which would ultimately lead to a more fulfilled and a more abundant life. When they weren't listening to God's advice, the prophets and wise men would steer them back towards God's law. Yet the people of Israel got to the point in which they openly asked for lies instead of truth. They wanted to hear only easy things and not the hard things. Only well-known nice things and not difficult obscure things. They wanted to hear only words of comfort and not words of correction. These people are intentionally rejecting truth and what is right in favour of easy-to-swallow illusions which are deceptive and false. They don't want to hear about the problems of the road ahead. They prefer to hear the opposite, even if it's false. Isaiah wanted to tell them that they were trusting in lies and that calamity awaited, yet they didn't want to hear. They wanted to live in darkness, not so that they could hide themselves away so that others will not see how bad they may be, and not so that their faults may be hidden from God. They wanted to believe in their own perfection and goodness. Does that ring a bell with you? Could you be like that at times, sticking your fingers in your ears and crying out,
La la la, I can't hear you. La 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 la.
Does truth ever make you uncomfortable? Do you ever prefer lies when they make you feel more secure? It's better to face reality than to live a lie.
What could take away the sting of death? Only love I had met. What could cause this restless heart to rest? Only the promise that you kept.